Page 54, Hearts from Heaven. This is a challenge piece, good piece for a recital or something. We can get an idea of what's going on because it looks kind of ugly in places, but we'll talk about it. I'm going to go through the process I use for learning a piece of music, and we'll just see what happens. I'll look it over and see about how long it is. It's about 2 pages long. The clef signs are still treble and bass clefs. We have 1 sharp in the key signature, so we're in the key of G major. Make sure you're doing the scale for G major. Go ahead and do the scale for E minor also, because E minor has 1 sharp in the key signature. And it's in common time, or 4/4 time. I will take it one hand at a time and see if we can make some sense out of this. This at the beginning, where all these notes crunch together. Some notes have the stems going up, and some notes have the stems going down. That's an indication of which hand's going to play it. The right hand's going to play the notes with the stems going up, and the left hand's going to play the notes with the stems going down. So for the right hand, if you look at that, the notes, it's a C, E, and a G. It's just a C chord. But it has an ABA above it, so you're actually up here. And you have, and then 2 C chords, and the last one is just an E and a C. There's no C, so they're different. And the next measure is the same notes, but now you're down here. Just those. And then the third measure, you're down here. Same notes again. This time it's 4 notes. 2 of these and 2 of these. And then the next measure is a C, an E, and an F. Then you lift up for measure 5. You got 1 beat to rest to come up. And you're in this position. So it's 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, rest. 2, 3, rest. And measure 9, it's the same notes, but now it has an ABA above it, so you go up an octave. You're going to do the same thing up here. So forth. Then measure 13, you're back down to here. They went 3rd finger on the F sharp. You just come down here. You got 1 beat rest to come down. It's 1, 2, 1 and 2 and. So forth. And then for measure 17, you're down here. 1, now E flat, or B flat, excuse me, use the same finger here, and then A flat. The finger position is here. We're just moving the fingers long enough to play the black keys is all. So again, measure 17. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Now naturals, because those flat signs are only good for that measure. Yeah. So that's again. Now in measure 18, you're down here. The little finger's got to come up 1 key. The hand is not moving, just the little finger. This is a situation, remember, where the outside fingers sometimes have to cover 2 notes, and this is what we're doing here. So it's 1 here, and then 4 on the C. And now they want 3 here, because now we've got to cover all of that. Now we could cross over the thumb, but I prefer not to, and this fingering, I like this fingering. So again, a measure 18, we're here, thumb comes up, now reach down, you're just stretching out a little bit, and you don't have to cover all of them at the same time. You can come down, and then here, and relax, and then measure 21, you're back to what you were doing on measure 5. Left hand, at the beginning, the only note at the beginning with the stem going down is a D. And they're saying 2 and 3 here. That's all you're playing, but it has an ABA above it. See up here. And then you add a B to it. Okay, which fingers you're using for the left hand now? They say 2 and 3. I don't like 2 and 3. I'm going to use 2 and 4. 2 and 3 is this. No, 2 and 4 for the for the 3rd beat. So it's rest and 2nd measure, same notes down here. And then 3rd measure, same notes, but now you're D, and then 2, and then you come down here. So you got to go from here to here. I'd rather not. There's no rest or nothing. So I've changed the fingering so it allows me to do a little better. So on the 3rd measure, rather than keeping the same fingering I've used throughout, I'm going to go with a thumb and then a 2-1. And now I can reach down. I can either do a 5-3 or a 5-2, whichever. I'm hardly moving. So I'm going from here to here, or here to here. either way, it's not like you're up here and got to go down. You're right here and you're just moving a little bit. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do 2-1 for the B. And then my hands are big enough, I can do a 3-5. If you got little hands, you can do a 2-5. Hopefully you can at least do a 2-5. If not, you have to do a 1-5. That still isn't moving that far. And then measure 5, you're down here. Now look at these, forget the rhythm for a bit, let's look at the notes here on the second line. Measure 5 is here, measure 6 is here, measure 7 is here, and here. We're kind of going around. The thumb doesn't need to do all this. The second finger can help. So because we have a black key involved, I'm going to let the second finger play the black key. So on measure 5 it's here, measure 6 is here, but now I'm going to do a 5-2 for that, and then a 5-1. So I'm doing that. I'd like the second finger to do more, but that's okay. We just do it this way. Now for measure 13, you got to come up. They want here, and then here. I'd rather not. I don't want to move around that much. So I'm going to cover all 4 of those notes in measure 13 and 14 in one hand position. I'm going to go here, and the next measure it's here. I got all those notes in one hand position. I could use 4 also. So it's 3-1, and then 5-2. I'm not moving the hand at all until measure 17. Now I got to come back down here, and I do a 4-1, 5-2, and then here. Now you got to come up. And then measure 21, we're doing like we did on measure 5 here. Okay. The last 2 measures. It's 1 and 2 and. That's all. If you're doing the scales, this kind of thing is easy. You just 1 and 2 and 3, and then the right hand finishes it. So let's put the hands together. Should be interesting. Now again, the notes in the first measure, you're playing a C chord and a D. Which hand is on top is up to you. It's whichever is more convenient. If there are black notes involved, that hand usually gets on top, but they're all white keys here. So you can do what but you're up here. These notes, down here, do it again. And then down here, do it again. And now I'm using a 1 here. And all of this mess. And you can check your notes by spelling out the chord there on measure 4. It's a D, an A, a C, an E, and an F sharp. Just make sure you got the right one. It's kind of hard to tell from hearing it sometimes. And the measure 5, you're here. Those 8th notes are by themselves. Lift up the left hand. 2, 3, rest. And measure 9, the right hand comes up. Just the right hand, not the left. They wanted both hands, they'd have to put in a note both hands, or they got to put the 8VA above both steps. Now measure 13, you're here. Rest, rest. Both hands come down. That's one of those chords again. You think, is that really the right notes? Well, just spell out the chord and check it. It's a D and a C, and then the E and an F sharp. Because there's a sharp in the key signatures, absolutely. And you lift up and come up and do it again. Last line. Let's go to the last 3 measures. We're here. And 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. Now these 8th notes need to sound like one hand played them all. So try and match it out. So once I have the notes and the rhythms worked out and the fingerings, then I go back through any trouble spots and try and iron them out. And I go through it all 100 times or whatever and try and get rid of the hesitations. Speed is not important right now, but no hesitation, so it's a steady beat throughout the whole thing. You have to look down at the keyboard when you're moving around, but unless you're moving your hands, you should not have to look at the keyboard to play some of this. And then I'll put in the articulation. Now this is pretty connected. Measure 5, they have the slurs line. Okay, so you just connect them. If they didn't give that on there, you could put in staccatos if you wanted to. But when they do that, you got to slur them. That's pretty connected all the way through. You lift up for the rest, of course. Now the dynamics. MP at the beginning is mezzo piano. It's sort of, now there's no melody here. It's both hands. It's whatever you think sort of soft is. And then keep it that way. And then keep it that way. Measure 5, you go up to moderately loud. That's a forte. Here. This stays soft in the background. And then a measure 9, you're going to echo that a little bit. Now you're sort of soft. The left hand's very soft. Measure 13, back up to moderately loud. Left hand soft. And I might mention here on the articulation, go ahead and lift up here. Lift up. It's like taking a breath. Measure 17, you're sort of soft again in the right hand. Left hand's very soft. You see on measure 19 you have a dim E rit. Dim diminuendo, start getting softer, and rit slow down. I'll do that later. Right now I'm softer. That's the right hand. I want to hear that. The left hand is very soft. And then for measure 21 you back up like you were in measure 5. Now in the last line in measure 25 you're moderately soft. And then stay moderately soft, a dim E molto rit. Oh, goody. Well, you start getting softer. Very end, you're going to be very soft. You're still moderately soft here. And this, come up to about a moderately soft here, about the same, and then come down. Diminuendo is really more for the next to the last measure on the 8th notes. You just want them to come down gradually. Now once I have an idea of the dynamics, then I'll think about the speed. Andante con rubato. Oh goody. Well, andante is kind of a leisure pace. How fast? Right in there, somewhere in there is 1, 2, that's fine. The rubato, I can't do rubato. That's giving and taking of it. If it feels getting a little faster and slower, try it. Be careful, because if it's not done right, it just sounds like you can't keep a beat. I don't do rubato well, so I'm going to forget the rubato. I'm just going to do the andante. It's kind of in the middle somewhere. And then a ritardando. And then the alt tempo measure 5 means take off again like it were. On the molto ritardando at the end, at the bottom of page 55, here. Each one of these gets slower and softer. Yeah. Molto means a lot. You're going to retard a lot, slow down a lot. Don't get too carried away. We don't want the 8th notes to start dragging. That's too much. They still need to sound sort of like 8th notes. You're just slowing them down quite a bit. Now, they've added pedal. Okay. Why are we using pedal? What's it for? Well, here it's mostly for the effect. It's all dreamy, misty and everything. We're just kind of all doing all kinds of stuff. Overlap pedal, or lag pedal. The hands, the fingers do their thing, and then the pedal. So push the notes down, and then the pedal. Change it after you play the notes. Leave it down through the rest. They're covering up all the rest, and that's interpretation. You can do that. You can cover up all the rest if you want. The rest gives you a chance to lift up and move your hand. If you'd like to hear the rest, you lift the pedal up with the rest, with the hands for the rest, and then if you want to hear the rest, you lift the pedal up. Measure 5. See, I can lift it for the 8th notes. It's interpreting the music. Different people will interpret it differently. The pedal indications in most of all these books, or most music actually, is just suggestions. They're what one person thinks it should be interpreted as. Doesn't have to. It's up to you. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to go ahead and do it the way it's written in the book. If I were to do it myself, I would probably change this pedaling a little bit. So I'm not pedaling the 8th notes. And I might lift up for some of the rest to hear that. It's up to you. It's interpretation. Remember the natural accents? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Put them in. 2, 3. Feel them. At the end, the pedal, that last one, because you're soft and you're down away, if you suddenly lift it, it comes there. If you suddenly lift the pedal, you get this. It's like an accent. It's like, whoa, what happened to the sound? We want the sound to die away. Well, you lose a fade-out pedal, or whatever it's called. I don't care what it's called. The idea is you lift the pedal gradually, so the dampers touch the strings gradually, and the sound should gradually die away. You lift the key up, leave your hands on the key, just let the key up so you're not pushing it down, and then gradually lift the pedal, and the sound should just gradually die away. If you're getting buzzing or something, have your piano tuner technician person check your dampers. You should not get buzzing when you do this. If you have an electronic keyboard, some will do it and some won't. You have to experiment. If yours won't, you can always go up, reach up onto the volume control and just gradually turn it down. Doesn't matter how you get it to fade away. What's important is the sound fades out. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the louds and softs, and I'm not going to do the pedaling because you can hear it better without the pedal. So I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go. Rest. Rest. 2, 3, rest. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 3, rest. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Off.